I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Nathan Shooter. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I'm really well, Angela. What about you?
I'm excellent, actually. You are my final conversation for the night. And it's as though you're waving it in my face because I'm guessing it's not night where you are, right?
No, it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon. I just had some lunch and I'm looking at sunshine outside.
Wow. Yeah, tell us, what part of the world are you in right now?
So I am in Australia, as you would have guessed from my accent. And yeah, so if you know where Sydney is, you basically jump on a plane and head west for about an hour, and then you'll find my house.
Sounds like fun. But Nathan, please do tell me, which of your talents is responsible for us meeting?
Yeah, Angel, it's really, I guess, our mutual love of podcasting and blogging, but preceding all that is, I guess, our love for sharing ideas. So that's probably responsible for us meeting.
Love it. Yeah, let's unpack the podcast and what you do there, please.
Yeah, sure. So the podcast is called Live to Accomplish, and essentially it came almost as an accident, really, because I was on a bit of a quest personally to try and find simple ways to create better and more significant outcomes in my life. And I thought, well, while I'm doing this, why don't I include other people and share my findings as I go along? And so that's really born out of that desire to simplify, because I'm sure you can relate to this. There's so much stuff out there which is helpful and unhelpful, but there's just so much great content out there that sometimes we can get overwhelmed and actually do even less because of overwhelm.
Yeah.
So for me, I wanted to simplify so people can do more with less.
There's something you said on the podcast about overwhelm. Could you say it again? I forgot. I remember hearing it and you said, and I was like, oh, yeah.
So yeah, I believe that overwhelm leads to underachievement.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's intriguing. Where's the best place for us to go find out more about what you do, Nathan?
Yeah, thanks for that. You can find the blog and the podcast and the videos over at nathanshooter.com. But in terms of the podcast, you can find me in iTunes. Just search for either Live to Accomplish or Nathan Shooter. You'll find me there. And of course, on the usual social platforms, and the handle is just at Nathan Shooter.
I can imagine what you went through with that name being Nathan Shooter. Like I keep pulling myself back.
Yeah, it was really difficult. Last year I went through Europe with my sister, and you end up spending more time explaining yourself to security guards than usual. So it's not helpful, Andrew, when you're trying to travel. Yeah, in India month before last, I was in India, and I had a security guard pull me over, and I was really nervous because all of my equipment for audio recording was in a different line, and he just wanted to look at my passport and have a laugh.
Yeah, it's a fascinating name, Nathan Shooter. Tell me, Nathan, who do you think you learned the skill of really simplifying things and making it clear?
Well, I think that's probably a two-part answer. I think part one would be, obviously you're the product of your family, in the sense of that they help form you in your early years. And my family, like mum and dad, they're pastors of a church, and they've been doing that they've just finished up actually, but did that for 35 years. And so you get, I guess, emotional intelligence dumped on you from an early age, and you just get things, if you understand what I mean by just get it, you get things earlier. And so, yeah, I really I guess part of that was exercise in seeing why things happen to people as a result of decisions they make. So that was interesting. And then fast forward to the last 13, 14 years of being in business, it's been a real pleasure to work with digital agencies and that kind of thing, which have helped me again in a more tangible, practical sense, simplify things so that you can communicate your ideas effectively. So it's kind of like that soft side of things and that hard data side of things, both which had a need for simplicity. And then I guess I'm still learning how to fusion those things together.
Wow. Well, tell me one other thing that you've done, Nathan, that, has been consistent for the last 3 years.
Yeah, I think if you were to answer this honestly, like for myself, I've been a student again. So it's kind of like, even though I'm a creative business owner, I deliberately over the last couple of years put myself in this cycle of learn and teach. And it's kind of like you have to kind of forget what you know and look for what you don't. And so over the last 3 years, I would say the thing that I've done is continually just stayed in this cycle of learning and implementing. So yeah, it's been really, really interesting because I go to events, come back, implement, realize there's another gap, go to another event, meet more people, and then implement, and then find there's another gap. So yeah, I guess it's that cycle of learn and implement.
How does that make you feel?
Yeah, I think it's that's a good question. I think really, and you would relate to this as well. When you have any interesting venture, there's always a mix of risk and reward. And so for myself, simultaneously, you get kind of unsure of yourself because you want to go and learn these new things. Yet at the same time, you feel focused and purpose driven. So yeah, it's a bit of a dichotomy, but a bit of a mix of kind of unsure yet focused at the same time, if that makes sense to you.
It does. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I definitely go through that many times. Even with before our conversation, right? So it's like, all right, Nathan is supposed to connect. Nathan doesn't connect. Okay, then maybe I wasn't good enough for Nathan, right? So and then
you maybe just overthought the technology.
Well, yeah, again, it comes down to the fact of the situation, though, which is what you're really pointing to. The fact of the situation is sometimes it's not all of that thinking necessary. Sometimes it's, as you said, you go, you implement. Hey, you look at it and you go and you implement again. I'd like to know why you suggest to someone that's out there. You suggest to them why they should swallow the bitter pill.
Yeah, well, the thing here, I guess, one of the biggest words that have influenced me recently, Angel, is the word pivot. And I think we get so comfortable with what we are able to do that in that comfort, we don't produce anything new. And so if we want to be able to, live to accomplish new things, we have to pivot. And that means putting yourself in a different driver's seat of a different car you've never owned, So we have to kind of learn and then put ourselves out there by being vulnerable and then looking at the gap and then learning again, So it's at the end of the day, we need to learn how to pivot. So it doesn't matter, for your listeners, how long you've been in your current job or career or how old or young you might be. There's always the time to pivot.
I love it. All right, well, amazing audience. We are live with Nathan Shooter. Do check Nathan out. Nathan is doing some amazing things. He is a podcaster, so we say he's family. Right? A blogger, creative, strategist. Nathan, let's switch gears for a moment now, and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Nathan, what is your earliest childhood memory?
I think if you were to turn the clock back that far, you'd find me doing some kind of artwork at preschool. So I remember making a lot of mess with paint, I guess, would be when I was about probably 3 or 4 or 5 years old, I would imagine.
Wow. Why do you think this memory is so clear?
If you had to, I guess, think about a memory, it would probably correlate to what you are intrinsically good at or what you value. And to me, that passion is art, creativity, and intrigue, I guess. So yeah, as a kid, I would have gone, my instinct is to create.
I love that. I love how you connected that before I could even connect it. I love that. Yeah, you know what I'll add to it, though? You definitely have an eye for design. Like when I went to your website, and I've never seen a suit, a jacket so well pressed. There's an eye for the detail, isn't there?
Yeah, my laundromat has strict instructions.
Oh, love it, love it. If we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
Oh gosh, it's a really daggy song. It's by a band which is not even around anymore. It was called Mr. Big, and the song was To Be With You. And that was, I think, there was an old movie called My Girl, and it was kind of, I think, around that kind of era. So yeah, I'm just showing you my age right now.
That's great, that's great. Well, my friend, we have now arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form, so it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to go quickly here. Nathan, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Absolutely. My audience and clients and hopefully friends and family who might listen to my content.
Are you married?
No, but there is a plan, hopefully.
Love it. Do you have children?
No.
Do you believe in God?
Absolutely.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
I don't. I wish I could.
How about 3 hours a week?
Absolutely.
What about screen time, the phone and or the computer? More than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
More than 8 because of the industry I'm in.
Nathan, after 1,001 conversations in 3 months in 2016, I came up with a workbook. The name of it is Yours, YOURS, and it stands for your own unique real self. Connected to that is your own unique real statement. Your mission, if you had to share with us, Nathan Shooter, your own unique real statement, something that represents you, what would that be?
That's a great question, Angel. And I'd probably say my message is Approachable Excellence, really helping people to find simple ways to create significant outcomes.
Love it. Approachable excellence. Well, Nathan, hey, this has been a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
No, I just want to appreciate the work you're doing and the audience making time to, improve their lives by actually listening to life-changing content. And so if you have time, go and check out my podcast as well and join me online on different social platforms. So yeah, nathanshooter.com.
Love it. I mean, it doesn't get easier than that, amazing audience. nathanshooter.com. It doesn't. Trust me, it doesn't. Nathan, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you so much for hosting me.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.